Hello? Hello? Okay. S- Hello? Okay. Alright. Sounds good. Okay. Let's talk about this chart for BTC. So all these drawings were done uh, roughly, I don't know, sometime early last week. So I just kind of want to follow up on this. And my streams are just as much for me as they are for anybody else. So this kind of helps me solidify my plan and, my thoughts as I go through these. So let's talk about it. So last week I drew this, right? So this is the main thing I want to talk about is how, so in the daily, we made our all-time high, had this big run up, and then kind of easing towards trying to break out again or form some sort of consolidation range, which in my opinion, I thought we were going to start forming here. This starts to look a little bit toppy, maybe here in this range, but regardless, could have started forming some consolidation. Um, that wasn't the case. So we had some interesting news that came out where Elon decided to rug us all because he is hell bent on trying to do something that has been disproven, or not disproven, but more so that debate and the way he's trying to scale on Doge has been, um, that's all been discussed years and years and years ago on how that's not a realistic outlook or expectations for investors. But regardless, let's talk about this. So drew this here. This was starting to look kind of toppy to me. So drew this and posted it in the Discord. And this area here at the right about at 51K, we'll call it, is this green horizontal is what I was immediately interested in looking at for some kind of relief. And this line here, the expectation for myself was to take a short position here, which I did, and I closed it somewhere in this range. It was just kind of more or less kind of a, not gonna call it a scalp because it wasn't a scalp, but it was just a quick trade for me. I don't have I haven't had time lately to be scalping, so this was kind of just a position um, that I wanted to take if this broke, especially below this horizontal here at 54. I was going to take it because this is starting to look weak. So anyway, that news came out. That worked out really well. And I was looking for us to hold here. This is like the first level that on BTC that I thought was relevant to look at. So we had a flush all the way down due to that FUD that came out from Elon, all the way down to this level here that was drawn previously at 48, which I thought was a relevant area as well. Kind of had a bounce here, wick down right to it, wick down past it into this buy zone that looked good. So if you were able to take that position, that would have been a great scalp there. Scalp that and then fade it, fade that move immediately because now we're looking at just real weakness on BTC for now anyway. So this area failed. And if this area failed and you didn't see an immediate buy up and a nice bounce off this area, that's where you want to take a long if we're still bullish or we're still chopping. So that didn't work out, right? So plan A, the bullish scenario didn't play out. Plan B for me was looking at this and saying, okay, we're looking weak. We're not really doing anything but kind of chopping. That news came out. We broke. That was the short for me. And then this is what I'm looking at. This is really what I was looking at. And I want to see how well this still looks and edit the chart and kind of talk about where we go from here, right? So this looked good. So thus far, we flushed all the way down. You could have taken that short if you wanted to. You could have taken a short up here and set your stop. I probably would have set my stop somewhere above here, somewhere at 62, 62-ish. Probably somewhere at 62. That makes sense to me. 62, 63. Because over 60, I think we were gonna continue up, and then you would have had a nice position all the way down here. That wasn't the case for me. I didn't execute that as well as I should have, so I just took a quick short position and closed that. So anyway, so where we are now, we're continuing to flush, um, and we're continuing to flush down into this box that I drew, which was a buy area for me, due to the consolidation here after this run up. And what we saw was stopped our up only move here at 46. So I took this area, and to punt along, I'm looking for probably another run up because I'm not going to take this position, right? If I've missed this, I'm not going to try and take a position. I'm going to try and get something down in this area. So that's why I drew this box to get a long off here, which I did, and was really happy about that. Uh, Closed somewhere in this area, I believe, around 52. Oh, sorry, not 52, around 53, 54. But anyway, that's why this box is here. And considering we had this area that was relevant to me, and we held again once we came off of this high. So that's where I would look for our next bounce or some sort of relief, right? Is right here. And that's where we are right now. But I'm not convinced that this is over. So if you're swing trading or you're just holding spot, I'm not convinced this is over. And the reason I'm not convinced this is over is because we have a lot of things going on that are not directly related to this particular like organic bull cycle. We have some outside crap going on with Elon and that whole situation. So, in the midst of all that, we have no idea what Tesla's doing with their holdings. Um, at this rate, with the way Bitcoiners are attacking him ruthlessly, well, not really attacking him, but just like kind of trying to explain to him that, hey guys, we've been in this space since like 2013, 2014. Like, hear us out. Okay, we know a thing or two about this. We've been here a while, and he's not taking too kindly to that. So we don't know what Tesla's doing. We don't know what his mindset is truly. Um, so anyway, we're continuing to flush, and I don't think this is quite over yet. And there's a couple reasons I don't think this is over yet. One, I think the 40K region, if we don't bounce in this area, which I'm not optimistic. I mean, if we do get a little bit of relief, I think you fade that move. So I'm gonna, now that we've seen this, we've seen these two areas, the 40K and the 43K, are where I drew to potentially take a long position. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these for now because we've already discussed that. Okay, so let's look at what could happen here, right? We don't know. But this was really the first area, somewhere between here and this horizontal here at 43, flat. It's the first place that I would even consider taking along, right? So if we get something like, so the bull case is really this. The bull case is this. You come down where we are right now, and then you make some kind of move up, maybe chop some, and you reclaim 51. That seems reasonable to me. That seems like a reasonable place to take along. That's the bull case in my opinion. Um, then you're back to at least kind of keeping this range. So then you have your range low, and you've come back down to that range low, and it's held. So you can keep forming a range and continue accumulation. And then most likely continue and break to the upside. On the flip side of that, in my opinion, the more likely scenario is that we do something like this. We have a little bit of relief. I don't know how much. Maybe we reject 46, or maybe we come up to 48 and get smacked down. And I think we could get smacked down anywhere in this area, and that could be a decent place to take a long position if you're dynamically managing. Uh, you're either you're sitting and trading consistently, um, and are able to manage this, or you're scalping. Because you don't want to get caught, you don't want to get burned, right? You don't want to set bids unless you have stops, right? Well, if you're trading, I would hope anyone has stops, but uh, in crypto, that seems that most people just like to get liquidated. So anyway, that area there is interesting to me. If this fails, I'll look to here. I'll look to the 40K area, somewhere between 43 and 40. I'll kind of see how price reacts here, and if we give ourselves like a little relief bounce, but it looks weak, and we lose this level that we just talked about, then I think what I'm going to do is look for this area that is really important, and it's a lot easier to see from this right here. So right off the bat, we see how horrendous this looks, right? Yeah, this does not look great. This weekly candle looks like we either need some some type of institution to step up to run this thing back, or else we're going lower for sure. So the area, we can get rid of these for now. These are from prior charts. This area here kind of stands out to me. Right here, immediately. So from the 39, just we'll call it 39K to 35-ish. I don't think we go 35, but I think the 38 to 39K would be really healthy. Like that would be a really healthy correction in this cycle. I think that should be expected anyway. I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, look what's happened. Look at this. I mean, if you look at this chart, it's pretty insane, right? So we need some type of solid correction to reset, accumulate, and continue back up. We can't just. I know the up only thing is a cool meme, and I love it. Shout out to Cobain, Path. But I think it's fair to think that we correct down to this level. So judging off of that, we would have something like this. I don't know, some sort of consolidation, right? Like some sort of move to here, bounce pretty significantly. I imagine we would bounce pretty hard, and then start consolidating and make our move upside. Right? Probably won't be that dramatic, but you get what I'm saying. So let's get out of the weekly. I've shown you the area that's important. I think is right here. This 38, we'll call it 40K to 38K. That's an easy range to remember and keep in mind. Yeah, so this candle is, this candle is looking worse and worse. This guy's looking worse. We got that nice monster upper wick forming on the daily, which is, like I said, I think the more likely scenario is down, but I've gone ahead and given you guys the bull scenario from here. So where I'll be looking to bid again, I'll just kind of reiterate this. If it's not a scalp for me, then I'll be looking at first the 43K level, and then I'll 43K, 42, and then I'll be really, really serious about bidding the 40K range to about anywhere in there seems reasonable to me. And like I said, we'll call it 40K to 38K. And we can probably see a little bit better here. Something like maybe we get a complacency bounce, and then down into here, right? And we might, and all moves in crypto that are huge flushes to the downside are huge runs up to the upside. The moves are usually exaggerated, so we might see a wick below this area, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to put stink bids down here. 37, the high 36, and see if you can get that. I'm sure I'm gonna place some stink bids down here in this range. as well, where we saw this little bit of consolidation here after we fell from the high. But anyway, it seems reasonable for me to really look to ladder bids in this area and take a long, regardless of what's happening with Elon. That's what I'm gonna look to do. I'm gonna ignore that news, and this is my plan. Just to come down here, and then I think we see significant bounce up here, and we either keep going in this consolidation range here and then break, or we make a drastic move up. Something like that. My squiggles aren't the best, so I apologize. But I hope I'm giving you the gist of what's going through my head right now. Um, if that area fails, and I don't like to look too far to the future because I just want to play it level by level, and then reset my thinking after a level has been lost or broken, um, in either direction. But just for fun, this area, 30K. 30K. You could even call it, if you wanted to, you call it from this horizontal down to this box, but I drew this box because it's the low side of that range that I would bid in, and that's due to running this high, coming back down and finding support here. So that's another area I'll look to. It's especially after a dramatic flush like that, right? Like if it's down only for a while and you don't get relief, you don't get significant relief or strong support and continue up after 38, I think we look down here. I think this is a reasonable area to look at because of this, because of what's already formed for us. And let's see. Yeah, I agree with that. So that's the next area, and that's really as far as I'm comfortable looking into the future. And like I said, I just put these levels down here just for you guys to take a look at, and keep in mind. But I'm not going to be focused on that at all. What I'm going to be focused on is what's happening right now in this area that I've drawn around 43K, high 43, 44, really, and and down here to the 43 flat, 42 flat, and then the range we talked about, 40 to 38. That's what I'm focused on right now. I think that's very important to look at and keep in mind. Those levels are significant. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Yeah. Um, I put this in the chat a bit ago about this. So we had the flush, right? And then I think I was showing you guys on the hourly, the bouncing ball, right? Like here we go. Let's zoom in. The bouncing ball, right? You have a move that is due to something that was on Twitter. This was, I believe, these two candles right here were the Elon candles, and that kind of fudded the whole market, kind of de-incentivizes the institutional bid, paints a bad picture of BTC, especially with the social climate being everything has to be environmentally friendly or we're all gonna die and have to go to Mars. Ha, imagine that. Good job, Elon. But anyway, so you got this big flush down. This was a nice scalp to play. And we drew this box, right? So that was a place to definitely, once you saw this flush and you saw the tweets, I immediately put bids down here to try and catch something. And we did, right? And I sold them at the first sign of weakness. It was a quick play, so I think I caught it right here on this red line, and a little bit lower in the 46.3, 46.2 area, and sold right in this candle somewhere. So that was important for me to keep in mind. And then in the chat anyway, in the Discord, what I was talking about is this bouncing ball, right? You get this big move down, up, and then you say, oh, V recovery, right? We're gonna. It was nothing. It was a typical, we're gonna Dalai Lama back up, right? And then head to the upside. No, not so much, right? We immediately see this rolling over, weak move, weak push back up, and then we fall, and then we even weaker, and then we fall. And then we get a little bit of a complacency bounce, so we come back down to this area, and that's why drawing these horizontals are really important, guys, because that's two longs you could have taken if you're not comfortable shorting. That would have played out rather well, right? I mean, that's a move from, we'll just take the line itself from about 46.8, 40, we'll call it 47, to probably didn't sell the first candle, so to 50, 51. So those are good trades, in my opinion. I'm sure someone will disagree with me. That makes a lot more money than I do. But anyway, this is just my plan. So we have a little bit more of a bounce, and what bulls are looking for here is, okay, look, we're not rolling over. So everyone probably, a lot of people faded this move right here, and when they faded it, they got stopped out, and that's what drove it. I'm assuming that's what drove it more to the upside, more than it would have anyway. But anyway, this 51 area acted as resistance, and to be honest, I'm actually going to move this now because this makes more sense now to set this here. So this was resistance here, and it tapped it again and failed. So we've still got that bouncing ball, right? And then flush. And we'll just call this one big flush, and then another move up. It's weak, but bounced off that same area. So that's 1, 2, 3 trades you could have taken if you drew this horizontal from way, way, way back here. And this range where up only came back, and then once we had the flush there, came up and held that as support, up, held that as support, big move up to another all-time high, and then flush down, held as support. I mean, this line was enough for me to take some trades and then draw this box for this whole area to put bids in. So that would have been drawn on the chart for you guys, I would hope, as it was for me to be able to make decisions on the downside now. And let's just zoom back in. I just wanted to go over there and show you guys where this line came from. Like it didn't just appear because of these wicks. Like it's been there since that 47K area was initially retested as support before we went back up to another all-time high. So anyway, we've got it looks like almost every move to the upside, you fade at this point, until we see some significant bounce, like a really significant bounce. And what I mean by that, what would have been significant to me is this. I want to get rid of this for now, just to clean everything up. So bear with me. So what would have been significant is if, we're fading this move, we're fading this move, we're fading this move, and we're still trying to take longs, because hopefully we're gonna bounce in this area and continue up, right? Still bull market for now. So if anything, we're looking to, if we're dialing up the leverage a bit, then we're looking to go long, or I am anyway. And by dial it up, I mean like 2x. I'm not talking degen level stuff. Uh, Shout out to all the degens though, who are out there putting on 50x leverage on Bybit and getting liquidated. Rest in peace, fallen comrades. So anyway, what we wanted to see, if we were looking for something to continue up, a bull scenario would be to tap this support again. Instead of failing, we would have done something like this. You would have looked to see something like this, where you come back up to this resistance level and this little range that it looked like it was forming, and break above that, right? Probably come up here, retest it as support after ranging for a bit, and then that's where you either took a long here or you're holding along here with a stop below these wicks. If you're on leverage, if you're just laddering spot, then it's a bit of a different strategy for me anyway. But everyone trades differently, so I'm just going to talk about what I do. And if someone disagrees with me, then that's cool. Whatever works for you. But that's not what happened, right? So we didn't even tap resistance again. So we've tapped support 1, 2, 3 times. So every time you tap a support or resistance level, historically, that level gets weaker. And you're more likely to break to whichever side you're tapping. So 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, weak, fade it. Broke this level that it was bouncing off of. So in my mind, that would have been an instant short. You would take that from 46 to I'd still be short. I'd still be short. Nothing indicates to me that that I would take any size off of that, any significant size. For me to take size off of that short would be to see this candle get engulfed. This candle right here be engulfed. So a move like that. Or some kind of move like this. But I'm not scalping right now. I'm trying to make more videos. It um, helps me think through my decision making better, and I think it might help some people along the way or not. So anyway, we're here. and we talked about levels that are important on BTC, and what could play out. From here going down all the way to the hourly, we could see something like, it's pretty bad squiggle. Could see something like this, and then fade it, or we could even see something like this and fade it. At this point, with this structure, at this structure, I'm I'm fading any move to the upside on its first sign of weakness. Um, that seems to be the way things are going right now. It seems like short-term bearish, and that's what we talked about earlier, right? With these levels down here, in this area, and this area. So what else do we want to talk about on BTC? Anything? Hmm. Okay. So let's zoom out a bit, yeah. So this is our 4 hour. This has looked like a reasonable scalp. We had our box drawn, and this would have been a good scalp to take. You probably would have heard what I would have done. I didn't, but if I was scalping, which sucks because I really haven't had time to today, unfortunately. I did have time over here, so I'm happy about that, but today I haven't had so much time. But what I would have looked to do is bid any significant wick down into this, and I would have dropped to a lower time frame, probably the hourly, to get that. So here I would have bid, because this box is drawn. It's important to me, and I explained why. And then I would have bid again and scalp both these moves. So on the hourly, I would have bid the bottom of this area. And I'm actually not sure if I would have bid that or not. I probably would have stepped it, after I saw that, I probably would have stepped it down to maybe 15. And bid there with a stop below my box. And I would have bid again down here on the low, like after it flushed down this low and wicked back up, and so far that looks like a decent scalp to take. And this is a fairly nice looking candle to be forming if you're scalping right now. And again, your hope is to see this. come back up, and Dalai Lama. That's what you want to see if you're bullish here. Okay, I think we covered BTC pretty well. Let's move to daily candle. Still is bothering me, but regardless, let's take a look at ETH. Um, I hate trading Ethereum actively. I'm just not near as good at it as I am BTC. But some levels that are important for me right now. Um, Obviously this one here. Okay. So let's take this off. So this one here. So we wicked down twice and held. This candle doesn't look strong yet, but I would look to see if this horizontal is going to hold here at 34, based off the bottom of this little channel here. Bottom of this channel, top of this one. But I'm really interested in bidding, seriously bidding in this range here. Somewhere 32, 32 I like. I would bid 32 based off of what we have over here. This accumulation after this run up. And in a in a scenario of pain and suffering, and we see BTC go a lot lower towards the ranges we were talking about earlier, then this area, the 27 area, 26 area, I would probably load the boat on. I would throw a lot at spot ETH and take a leverage position there. That seems reasonable. But right now, I'm looking to see if we either, we recover up and see what happens with this area, and see if we like form a range, some sort of range here. Something in this area, right? Form a range there. And then hold it as support, break above. I'd consider taking that. Or look at something like this, where we go, well, basically repeat this in some fashion. Come up, fade it. Excuse me for a moment. Okay. 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 All right, so, all right, so, all right, so, okay. So, sorry about that. We're back to the daily on ETH. Looks, gotta get reacquainted. Hello? All right. Sorry, the audio is really weird. Sorry, the audio is really weird. Okay, back to the, back to okay, you. Back to the, back to you. Okay, back to the, back to you. Okay, back to the, back to you. All right. ETH daily. So zoomed out a bit now. The the levels that I'm looking at, you can see a little bit better are the range in between these two horizontals here. So from 32 to 34 is interesting. And we can already see that we had these wick downs into that area and it was bought up immediately. But given the state of Bitcoin right now, or BTC, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a full market flush and a reset to before up only again. So levels I'm interested in are again here, seeing if this holds, or a little bit lower. I'm going to be looking for this range, see if that holds. And if it does, I'll take a long there. But what I'm really interested in is this level here. Mark that a little bit bolder so you can see it. Put it in purple. So the 25 area and the 23 area. So the top of that range and the median of that range. And the reason I say that is because these are the total levels that I'm going to look at in the near term anyway. Because like I said, for on the BTC chart, I just play it level by level. And I'm not going to look too far past this immediate situation that we're in here. And then play it down level by level or up level by level. So I think this box that's been drawn, I think the 20, 27, 26 area is really interesting. I think that's where you could load up with spot if we see a significant flush, right? I think this area is a good spot to make a potential buy. More so though, I would really consider laddering bids in this area, and not even consider, I will ladder bids in this area. Because this is our previous, so this is our last previous channel here, and we saw this is gonna act as support more than likely. I'm sorry, I gotta reset this audio. This is weird. Okay, let's try that. Nope. Okay. 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 What a pain. Okay, I'll just talk through it. I don't care. Yeah. So anyway, we've got this level here that's interesting to me. This box that's drawn, I think that's the first area that I look to ladder bids heavy or decently heavy. If we lose this area here, this area here is very important for right now. So I'm gonna look there first. I'm gonna look for a bounce off that area and see how price action reacts to this. If this area doesn't hold, then I'll be looking first at about 3 flat, just because of psychological support for a bounce there. Maybe a decent scalp play, in my opinion. But really, this area here in this box and this between these lines here is the last area where we had a decent amount of consolidation before a big move to the upside, and so that's where we would see some pretty heavy support. We would see a nice bounce off that area is what I would. That's what my bet would be. Anyway, so these are just a couple areas that I'm looking at on ETH right now. And considering what we talked about, Bitcoin situation, if the bear scenario plays out, I do expect to see a flush in markets across the board, which is going to give us a lot of discounts to pick up, as long as we stay bullish overall, like macro bullish, during this cycle. I don't think we've seen a cycle top yet, but like I said, level by level, guys. Sorry about the dog. And the last thing I want to look at is Solana. I think Solana, is really interesting for a couple reasons, and one that I posted in chat is this, and the Discord is this. Okay, sorry about that. Dog's barking. Gotta get that straightened out. All right, so what I'm trying to show you guys on here for Solana, what I'm interested in is this. And I posted it in chat, but I think this is really relevant. So if we zoom way out, look at this moving average. And I know I've already shown this in chat, but I just want to do it again. Touch that moving average, or way up. Touch that moving average, up. Moving average, up. And guess where we're at right now? That same area. Touch the moving average. So my bet would be that we continue up, unless we have like a total market flush. So I'd be weary of that considering the state BTC is in, but something to keep in mind, right? Especially for an ecosystem as exciting as Solana and being able to find a place to take a good position. So the bull case there is I like that a lot. Like that's a pattern that's repeated itself multiple times throughout the cycle. So I'm looking there. And I'm also looking at this, right? So right here you have a run up, you have this consolidation, and then you have a shakeout move down, and then you're up, right? Let me get rid of these. So we've drawn that out. We know what that looks like. Know where our moving average is touching. So anyway, consolidation up, and then right now we're in that same phase. I believe we're in that same phase. Looks a lot like it, right? So between this horizontal here, the the low off of this run up, and all these wicks here. So this is held as support, 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 support. Came down a little bit. This horizontal acted as support off of this little bit of consolidation. The top of this range, or rather the median. So this is just a deviation. So middle of that range held, and you can really say that these sides held as well on this support area. So what I'm looking at for on Solana is for one, this area to hold, this area to hold, or this area to hold. Either one. Anywhere in between here, I'm bidding. Anywhere in between these two lines. I'm personally gonna bid unless we see a huge flush on BTC that drags the whole market with it. So those two areas there, I'm interested in, for reasons that we talked about why we're placing horizontals and where in the last stream slash video that we did. So based off the moving average and these two horizontals that I've drawn in the support area right here and here, that's where I'm looking to get some decent bids in. This line marking the top of the range, not really counting this wick, but I'm looking at the range high based off of this and this wick right here. So right now, looks like we're doing the same thing we did before, right? Down here, this action. And the result was up. And, this is a decently clear picture of what I was talking about in the last video I posted about this breaking resistance after consolidation and then coming down and retesting is this right here. We break, trade above, retest, there's your retest. And then you take your position. You're long right there. Ike, settle down. Settle down. So, based off of that, well, what we're looking for, so say you're not comfortable bidding here. The next place I would take a position, or consider taking a long, is this consolidation. We have a break, we trade above, and then we come back down and test this as resistance. That's a long. That's a good long to take. in the event that we don't have a big flush or Solana holds. Like we'll just have to see how things play out. But like I said, level by level, those are areas I'm interested in. In the bull scenario right now, like everything stays bullish, alts are bullish. If not, then the areas that I would bid after this are right here in this range, right? Our consolidation. So 25 to 28, almost 29, on a serious market flush, and also this area here. But this gets into some dangerous territory of like a massive flush. So maybe stink bids here, a few bids here, and then depending on what BTC does over the next week or so, I'm still going to look to keep my position here and see how that plays out. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big fan of Solana. I hold a lot of spot Solana, so this is just this is just for trading slash adding to my position for a move to the upside. So those are the three I really want to talk about. Tried to put ETH in there because I don't really cover it a whole lot, but I know a lot of you guys like ETH a lot, so wanted to put some levels in there for you guys to look at and keep an eye on, and maybe chart some of this yourself and follow along. If there's any other coins that you guys want to see or anything in particular that you want to look at, let me know. All right, I'm gonna peace out for now. I'm gonna see what the market's doing. What's BTC doing right now? Yeah, see, so far that's weak. Got to see how this progression plays out, but that's not too bad on a scalp. But like I said, I really want to see. I really want to see this, something like that, and retake that 51K level. 51K is very important for bulls to retake control. Keep that in mind, guys. But my bias is bearish, and a continuation to the downside until I see that area reclaimed on BTC, and I think that's going to affect the rest of the market as a whole. And I think we've seen that so far since this flush. I think we've seen the market react to this, and BTC is going to lead. So I think everyone's waiting for BTC to find its support and start ranging a bit, or come up and retake control for bulls before everyone's comfortable funneling money back into alts and other majors. So we'll see how it plays out day by day, level by level. See you on the next one.